I've heard a lot of people's regrets as a real estate agent, and I've been working with retirees for the last 10 years. And here are some of the ones that stand out the most. Most people think retirees regret buying the wrong house. But after all these years as an agent, that's not what they regret the most. See, retirees don't regret the granite countertops, the square footage, or even the interest rates they locked in. What they regret is the stuff they didn't see coming. The HOA fees that started out at $300 a month and quietly ballooned to $600 a month. The insurance bill that doubled because the house was too close to the water. The 25-minute drive to the nearest hospital that suddenly feels a lot longer when you need it at 2 a.m. The nosy neighbors prying into your business as soon as you walk out the door, and the keeping up with the Joneses mentality. The utilities that are charging an arm and a leg and not being accurately measured by that city or town. The high taxes stemming from a high mileage percentage with that city or town. So let me ask you, have you ever made a big decision thinking that it is a safe move, only to realize later you missed the hidden costs and small nuances? That's what happens all the time when buying a home for retirement. When you're 35 and buying a home, your biggest concern is usually school districts and commute times. But when you're 65, the game has changed. It's not just about the house, it's about the lifestyle it forces you into. Do you want to mow half an acre every Saturday, or would you rather be playing pickleball? Do you want to be locked into a HOA that tells you what color you can paint your door, or do you want freedom? Do you want to gamble on living in a hurricane zone, or would you rather sleep easy knowing your insurance isn't going to eat your retirement? So here's something wild. In recent months, only about 28% of U.S. homes are selling above asking price. So that's down from 32% a year ago. The lowest level for this time ever since 2020. So also there's currently 1.9 million home sellers on the market and only 1.5 million home buyers. So sellers are outnumbering home buyers by 34%-ish. That's one of the biggest gaps in recent history. So these numbers mean that buyers have more negotiating power than they realize. And that means that the hidden costs and location mistakes matter even more. You know what else I hear from retirees all the time? They regret the real estate agent they picked. I mean, it's not the house, it's not the mortgage, it's the agent. Here's the thing, because at 65, buying a house isn't just about square footage. It's about lifestyle, long-term costs, and avoiding landmines. But too many retirees end up with an agent who only care about closing the deal and not the life and the lifestyle that comes afterwards. Some agents don't warn you about HOA fees that jump 20-30% in just a few years. Some gloss over the insurance risk and don't communicate about that, even though Florida premiums have gone up more than 40% in the last 5 years. Some don't talk about healthcare access, which is very important in retirement, proximity to airports, or whether a community actually fits your stage of life. And here's the kicker. According to surveys, almost 36% of recent home buyers regret not choosing a more knowledgeable agent. So that regret is even higher among retirees, because one wrong move in your 60s or 70s is way harder to undo than when you're 35 years old. The right agent doesn't just try to sell you a house. They pull back the curtain, they expose the hidden costs and communicate that clearly and make sure you're buying the lifestyle you want, not just the bricks and mortar. And that leads right into the number one regret I hear, and I've heard over and over and over again from retirees. I bought the wrong lifestyle, not the wrong house. They chose square footage over community. They chased the dream neighborhood without checking the insurance bill. They thought they were downsizing, but all they did was trade one set of headaches for another. And after a decade in real estate, I can tell you it's not the house that burns people out. It's the hidden costs, the wrong location, and feeling of being stuck when you thought you were finally free. So here's what's fascinating, because the top regrets retirees have in life actually lined up with the regrets they have when buying a home in retirement. So joining these two things up are very important. And what I always hear is, I wish I had retired sooner. In real estate, that sounds like, I wish I had downsized sooner while I had energy to still do it. And because of this, too many wait until it's a necessity instead of a choice. Or I always hear, I wish I spent more money in my younger retirement years when I had better health and mobility. In housing terms, they buy the safe house that's too small, too boring, or too restrictive, when they could have bought into a community with activities, amenities, and adventure while they were still young enough to enjoy it. Another thing I hear is, I wish I had taken better care of my health. When it comes to housing, that regret sounds more like I should have bought closer to healthcare, facilities, gyms, or walkable communities that supported a healthier lifestyle. I always also hear another one, which is, I wish I had picked up more hobbies. Well, in home buying, that translates to choosing a community with pickleball courts, with golf, art clubs, and social groups that keeps you engaged instead of too many people that start buying the quiet house and end up isolated. I also hear that I wish I had traveled more in my 50s and 60s, even overseas. And in real estate, they regret locking themselves into a high maintenance house that tied them down. Instead of buying a low maintenance lock and leave home that gave them the financial freedom to actually explore the world and have better experiences. So when you zoom out for a minute, buying a house in retirement isn't just a financial decision. It's a reflection of the kind of retirement that you want to live. And the biggest regrets in both cases come from the same mistake: playing it too safe and retiring too late. Drop a comment below. If you could go back in time, what's one thing you change about your last home purchase? Let's compare notes, because your story might save somebody else from making the same mistake. And here's the secret sauce, right? Because the happiest retirees figure out that they figure this one thing out. They treat retirement like an experiment. They end up renting for a year before you buy. They try snowbirding instead of selling everything. They test drive the lifestyle before they actually lock it in. So make sure to do your research. 2-3 years ahead, take your time with it beforehand. Do your due diligence and visit places you may want to retire in. Because the truth is, retirement regret doesn't come from making the wrong choice. It comes from making a permanent choice too fast. The happiest people I know gave themselves permission to test and pivot. And I'm Krish D'Errico, a real estate agent. I'm passionate about helping people turn their retirement dreams into reality. And I do this by helping people find their perfect place to call home. And after 10 years as a real estate agent, I can tell you, retirees' biggest regret isn't the house itself. It's thinking that the house was the finish line, when really it was just another starting point. Don't buy the treadmill that becomes a clothes hanger. Buy the lifestyle that keeps you moving. If you want clarity, hidden costs exposed, stories from retirees who've been there before you, who've done this, join my newsletter or join my supportive online community, because I'll be pulling back the curtain so you don't end up with buyer's remorse in your golden years. Thanks so much for watching.